Today we are continuing our discussion of the biblical reasons for singing. Over the last 2 weeks, I've mentioned Matt Boswell's article titled Sing to One Another that outlines three main reasons for the church to sing: as an act of worship, to disciple one another, and as a declaration to the world. Last week we looked at reason one, an act of worship. Today we're going to delve deeper into reason two, to disciple one another. We sing to disciple one another, and as we sing, we retell the gospel story, remind ourselves of the great gift of grace that God has bestowed on those of us who call him Lord. Colossians 3:16, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. During my seminary days, I studied hymnology, which is the study of hymns, with Dr. Hugh McElrath. Our textbook was co-authored by Dr. McElrath and Dr. Harry Eskew, Dr. McElrath's counterpart at Southwestern Seminary. Hymns and Christian songs reflect our theology and help to teach our theology. When we sing to one another, we are helping each other to solidify our Christian beliefs and heritage. One of the things that they taught in hymnology was to look at the indexes in the hymnals that we use. Next time you sit down in church, pick up a hymnal and look in those indexes. You will find a topical index that lists songs by themes. In the hymnal found at our church, the 1991 Baptist hymnal, there are 61 different hymns with the theme of discipleship. That's a significant number. In Psalm 95, verse 1 through 7, we have a call to worship and obedience. O come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us shout joyfully to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving. Let us shout joyfully to him with psalms. For the Lord is the great God and the great King above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The heights of the hills are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his hand. Today's hymn is There is a Fountain Filled with Blood. In Romans 3, verses 24 through 26, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God set forth as a propitiation by his blood through faith, to demonstrate his righteousness, because in his forbearance God has passed over the sins that were previously committed, to demonstrate at the present time his righteousness, that he might be just and the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. This hymn was written by William Cowper. He was born in 1731 in England, and his father was a minister. Cowper had a difficult childhood. His mother died in childbirth when he was only 6. He was sent to a boarding school where he was bullied because of his nervous demeanor. His father wanted him to become a lawyer, but while preparing for the bar exam, his anxiety took over and he ran away and attempted suicide. He was committed to an asylum that was run by a devout Christian doctor. As he began the healing process, he found faith and began writing poetry. Several years after his release from the asylum, he joined John Newton, author of Amazing Grace and former slave trader. He joined him in Olney, England, where Newton was the pastor of the parish church. In 1799, Newton and Cowper produced the Olney Hymnal, which is one of the most significant hymn books of the early evangelical movement in England. This hymnal contained 349 hymns. 67 of them were written by Cowper. There is a Fountain is based on Zechariah 13, verse 1. In that day a fountain shall be opened for the house of David, and for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, for sin and for uncleanness.